We're starting the recording. Yes, to let Barbara know. This morning. I think she was going to cut out. Wait a minute. That's another one.
I just want to remind everyone to turn off their phone.
Okay, we're starting.
Mine was on. I mean, mine was on. My name is Susan Simon, and we are the JV Players. This is the first performance we're giving without our founder and leader, Jeannie Bowers. I don't know if any of you remember Jeannie. She passed away in November. She was a theater person her entire life, first as a singer and then as an actor. She was a good director who did not hesitate to criticize us, but always in a constructive way. Under her leadership, we found interesting plays and sketches to perform and enjoyed the experience. We miss Jeannie very much. We have changed our name from the Penny Players to the JV Players in her memory. Oh, nice. Yeah, get off, you're gonna die. Okay, we're gonna start with two of our gentlemen, Luciano Siracusano and Michael Zabriskie. I'm not going to introduce what they're doing. You will recognize it immediately.
By these companies and Costello. Well, Costello, I'm going to New York with you. The Yankees gave me a job as coach as long as you're on the team.
But you're a coach. You must know all the players' names.
I certainly do.
You know, I never met the guys. You'll have to tell me their names, and then I'll know who's on the team.
Well, sure, let's see. We have on the bags. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
You're the manager.
Yes, I am.
You don't know the fellas' names,
Yes, that's right.
and you're going to be the coach.
That's right.
And you don't know the fellas' names?
Well, it should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean, the name of the first baseman. Who? The guy playing.
Who is on first?
I'm not asking you who's on first.
The man's name.
That's whose name?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's it.
It's who?
Yes.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Well, he does. And why shouldn't he? He's earned it, every dollar of it.
All I'm trying to find out is the fella's name on first base.
Who?
Who gets the money?
He does. Every dollar. But sometimes his wife comes down to collect it.
Whose wife?
Yes.
All I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No. What's on second?
I'm not asking who's on second.
Who's on first?
One base at a time.
Well, don't be changing the
I'm
players.
not changing nobody.
Hey, everybody.
All I'm asking is, can you tell me what's the guy's name on first?
What is on second?
I'm not asking who's on second.
Who's on first? Who's on third? And we're not talking about him.
Now, how'd they get on third base?
Mention the man's name.
If I mention the third baseman's name, who did I say is playing third?
Who's on first?
What's the guy's name on third base?
What's the guy's name on second?
He's
He's on third.
Now I go back on third base again. Will you just stay on third base and don't get off of it?
All right. What do you want to know?
Now, who's playing third base?
You insist on putting you on third base.
What am I putting on third base?
What's on second?
Asking who's on second.
Who's on first?
Third base. You got an outfield.
Of course we got it.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
Because,
No, he's in center field.
look, you have a pitcher on this team.
Sure we do.
The pitcher's name.
Tomorrow.
You don't want to tell me today.
I'm telling you now, man.
Then go ahead and tell me.
Tomorrow.
What's tomorrow going to tell me today?
Now listen, who's not pitching? Who's on first?
All right, don't say it. I don't want to hear who's on first wanna know what's the pitcher's name.
What's on second?
Not asking who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know, third base. All right, you got a catcher.
Certainly we've got to catch
The catcher's name.
it. Today.
Today and tomorrow's pitcher.
Got it.
You know, I'm a catcher too.
Yeah, so
Get behind the plate to do some catching. Tomorrow's pitching and the heavy hitter gets up. And the heavy hitter bunts the ball. When he bunts the ball, me being a good catcher, I throw the guy out at first base. So I pick up the ball and I throw it to who?
Now that's the first thing you said right.
I don't even know what I'm talking about. Look, if I throw the ball to first base, somebody's got to catch it. Now who has it?
Naturally.
So I pick up the ball, I throw it to naturally.
No, you throw the ball to
Naturally.
That's it.
You know, listen, I throw the ball to who? Whoever it is drops the ball, the guy runs to second. Who picks up the ball, throws it to Watt? Watt throws the ball to I don't know. I don't know, throws it back to tomorrow. Triple play. Another guy gets up with a long fly ball to because. Why? I don't know. He's on third and I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Everybody sign this? Yes. So, our next performance is from a collection of plays for older performers. It's called Senior Moments. And this play is called Sneeze. Abby and Martha, played by Sandy Prosnitz and Sarah Hack. Two elderly friends who are sitting on a park bench discussing philosophy, literature, and the vagaries of life as they wait for a larcenous squirrel to pass by.
Is that him over there?
No.
Are you sure? It looks like him.
Oh, it's nothing like him.
Because if that's the squirrel that stole my yodel yesterday, I've got a little something for him.
It's not him, Abby.
I've got a nice pretty brick here and I'm gonna smash his furry little head into a bloody pulp. Oh, yes. You'll be meeting your maker today, shifty little vermin.
It's a different squirrel, Abby. Look, he has a limp. You're not going to tell me a crippled squirrel stole your yodel.
Well, I'll bet he knows who did. They're all in this together. What was that?
I almost sneezed.
You almost?
Yes, but I managed to hold it in.
What in the world is wrong with you? You should never hold in a sneeze.
I always hold in my sneezes. I've been holding in my sneezes for 70 years.
I never heard you hold in a sneeze.
That's because I hardly ever sneeze. But when I do sneeze, I always sneeze. It's just the polite thing to do.
But don't you know how dangerous that is? You could pop a blood vessel in your head and get a cerebral hemorrhage.
My head feels fine. That's just an old wives' tale.
Well, I'm an old wife.
You're an old widow.
Well, not necessarily. You know, Joe's body was never found. It would be just like him to turn up now, starting to relax.
Well, the way I see it, if God wants to pop my blood vessel, that's his business. I'm certainly not going to start worrying about sneezing now, at my age.
There are practical considerations, Martha. Sometimes when you hold in a sneeze, it sneaks out the other end. And it's no little squeaker either. It fires off like a pistol shot. Nothing polite about that.
Sirrah, sirrah, as my sainted mother said, wherever you be, let your wind be free.
I shared an elevator with your mother once, and it was an experience I will never forget. Oh, is that him? Is that him?
That's not a him, that's a female squirrel.
No.
I know. I can tell the sex of any animal just by looking at it. Don't ask me how. It's a gift and a great burden.
Oh, don't do that. You give me the
I
willy.
can't help it. That's how I sneeze. There must be pollen around here somewhere.
Your brain is going to blow right out your ears. And I don't want to sit here and watch it. If it weren't for this squirrel I have to kill, I'd leave right now.
Nothing's going to happen to my brain. My brain's been the same for 70 years. That's just an old wives' tale. Another thing they say, if you cross your eyes, they'll stay that way. Well, I've been crossing my eyes at social gatherings and parties for 70 years, and they're straight as a string.
That's true. And they say if you eat breadcrumbs, you'll get curly hair. I have been eating breadcrumbs from here to Timbuktu. And look, I wanted to be Shirley Temple. That was my dream.
Who were the old wives anyway?
What do you mean?
The old wives, was it like a club?
A club? You mean an old wives' club?
Yes, do you think all the old wives sat around tables and came up with these tales? Or were they just some random old wives over the years, and then some bright fellow collected all the tales into a book or something?
I really don't know.
Because I've never read it.
Neither have I.
And yet we both know so many old wives' tales.
Word of mouth, I guess.
It's a testament to all the old wives in the world, wherever they may be.
Oh, I wish that squirrel would come. I have to get home for Judge Judy.
And it makes you wonder, who's going to pass on these stories after we are gone?
True enough. The old traditions are dying.
People get their information from machines nowadays.
Soon we'll all be robots. We won't sneeze or break wind or anything.
It's very sad.
Oh, here he comes. And look, he's got a ring ding in his mouth. Ooh, bold as brass, that one. Now I've got you, you cocky little weasel. Your chickens have finally come home to roost.
Oh, let him finish the ring ding, Abby. That's the humane thing to do.
I didn't get this far in life by being sentimental. Come on, Mr. Squirrel. Just a little step closer.
Say, did you hear that sneeze?
Did I hear it? Did I hear it?
That was a corker, wasn't
Where are you going? You chased him away. I had him right in my sights and you spoiled it with your goddamn sneeze. Now he knows me. Now I've lost his trust. I'll never get that close again. My one chance to kill a living thing. My one chance to give my life purpose and meaning. You selfish, inconsiderate bitch. Oh, Martha, what's the matter?
My head.
What?
It feels funny.
Funny as in,
The matter. Be met. Very good. Okay, our next offering is from a play called Last of Red Hot Love. Jeanette Fisher, played by Barbara Zweeman, is Barney Cashman's wife's best friend. Barney, played by Michael Zabriskie. Barney is a middle-aged nebbish who wants to join the sexual revolution, right? Before it's too late. But he has no idea and no experience with adultery.
You know Charlotte Foreman, big red-headed buxom woman. Her husband is the Mercedes-Benz dealer in Wantagh. Bill doesn't like her. He doesn't want me to see her. He doesn't want her to be my friend. Doesn't want her to come to our house. He can't stand Charlotte Foreman. He's been having an affair with Charlotte Corman for 8 months. I had to stop seeing her 3 times a week so he could see her 4 times. Times we live in, Barney. You know what my proof is? He told me. 2:00 in the morning, he leans over, taps me on the shoulder, and says, I've had an affair with Charlotte Corman. Who asked him? When he tapped me on the shoulder in the middle of the night, he thought he wanted me. You know what it is to wake up at 2:00 in the morning with a dry mouth and no eyelashes and hear that your husband is getting it from some other woman that you're not allowed to see for lunch? And you know why he told me, Barney? He explained it to me. These are the times we live in. As long as you're honest about it, you can do anything you want. We're living in a new guiltless society. Aren't we lucky to be living in such a civilized age? In the old days, I would have gone to my grave ignorant of the beautiful and wonderful knowledge that he was humping Charlotte Corman. When he told me, I didn't say a word. I got up and went down to the kitchen and made myself a cream cheese and jelly sandwich on date nut bread. And that was the last time in 8 months that I tasted food. I estimate going 4 times a week to see Dr. Margolies, I should be through in about a year. And when we both think I'm ready, I'm going to get in my car and drive off the Verrazano Bridge. I'm very depressed. Excuse me, Barney. Nothing personal. I don't think we're going to have our affair.
We have another one-act play from Senior Moments. It's called Chocolate. It is the tale of a curious murder investigation. The lady of the house is Sandra Prosnitz, and the detective is Luciano Siracusa.
So you have no idea where your husband is?
No idea, not a clue. He could be anywhere.
When was the last time you saw him, Mrs. Colby?
Well, let's see. This is Thursday. It must be, 2 weeks now.
2 weeks.
Yes, it was right after the harvest moon, because I remember saying to him, look, Clive, it's the harvest moon. And he didn't answer. And I was a little miffed at the time, but now I realize he wasn't even here. which just goes to show you shouldn't jump to conclusions.
So Mr. Colby's been missing for 2 weeks. You never reported this to the police?
Heavens, no. My husband is a very private person. I wouldn't want the police intruding on his personal life. Would you like some coffee, Detective?
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Colby. You don't seem especially concerned about your husband's disappearance.
Well, of course I'm concerned, but then I'm a worrier by nature, so I don't give that much weight.
I see.
Besides, this is hardly unusual for Clive. He's a whimsical fellow and possessed of strong idiosyncratic urges that often defy description. Once he walked out on us in the middle of Christmas dinner, and he called us 3 days later from British Columbia. He was trying to join the Mounties. Well, we had a good laugh about that, you can imagine.
Mrs. Colby, we have reason to believe the circumstances here are a lot more serious than that.
Well, I should hope so.
We spoke to your neighbors. They reported there was some kind of a disturbance here the other night. Your husband disappeared.
Really? Here? How funny.
Yeah, they said there was a lot of shouting, arguing, profane language, strange animal noises.
Animal noises. That's so interesting. Would you like some apple juice, Detective?
No, thank you. Now, did you and your husband have any sort of disagreement that evening?
Lordy, no. My husband and I were always in perfect concordance. Our evenings were invariably spent in sedate, placid self-satisfaction.
There was no shouting.
Oh, the shouting, I can explain that. Clive is getting a little hard of hearing, and I may have raised my voice a tad, asking him what kind of topping he wanted on his ice cream frap.
There was an overheard statement, and I'm quoting here. Fat cow, I'll show you who's a fat cow.
Well, I can explain that. You see, we were playing a little game in the privacy of our bedroom, the details of which are rather salacious and have nothing to do with this investigation.
Yeah, perhaps not, but the words in question were spoken in the living room.
Well, we were moving around. It was spirited fun.
The neighbors reported screaming, lights going on and off, some sort of a violent struggle with the Venetian blind.
Yes, that was Clive. He was pretending to be a parrot, you see. Yes, we were playing the parrot and the cow.
See?
So naturally, he was jumping around on the furniture, scratching the blinds, knocked over one of my best lamps. It was very comical and yet profoundly erotic. Would you like a muffin, Detective?
No, thank you. Mrs. Colby, we checked on some of your credit purchases in the last couple of weeks. We discovered a bill from Home Depot for a load of mixing cement, which was delivered to this address. 40 sacks of cement, to be precise.
40 sacks, yes, that sounds about right.
On the face of it, it's a lot of cement, Mrs. Colby.
Well, I can explain that. You see, I make bird baths as a hobby.
Bird baths.
Yes, I design my own bird bath molds, mix the cement personally, pour it in, let it set, and voila.
I didn't notice any bird baths in your backyard.
Oh no, I give them all away to friends and passers-by. For me, the joy is in the creation.
What I did notice, out behind the garage, was a very large cement plot, about 3 by 6, which appeared to be freshly laid.
Yes, well, that's all the excess cement. There are so many false starts in bird bath construction, you've no idea.
Apparently not.
I eventually intend to build a shrine to St. Anthony. I get you some sardines, Detective.
No, Jimmy. Forgive me for pointing this out, but it's my job to think of any discrepancies there appears to be a large shovel tucked behind the couch there.
Oh, yes.
Now, am I to assume that's the customary spot for your garden tools?
No, not for the most part, but I use that particular shovel to clean away the cobwebs which tend to gather in the hallway vestibule.
You know, most people would use a broom for that purpose.
Yes, most people would, the more full they.
I've observed on the whole, you keep a pretty tidy home, Mrs. Colby,
Why, thank you, Detective.
which makes the stain on the carpet there all the more conspicuous.
Oh, is there a stain?
Yeah, right there. It looks for all the world like dry, clotted blood,
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
but I take it it's not.
Oh, my stars, no. It's chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yes. We had a box of Godiva chocolate sitting around here for the longest time. And then one day, about 2 weeks ago, I just dipped into them and I couldn't stop. I must have dropped a praline crunch on the floor. I was wondering what happened to it.
Excuse my presumption, ma'am, but that doesn't look like Godiva chocolate.
Oh, but it is. Look. Would you like?
No, thank you. It doesn't look like Godiva chocolate. I'm referring to the fact it looks more like, how shall I say this? Nestle's.
Oh,
In the course of my various investigations over the years, I've had occasion to make a comparative study of the grades and qualities of foreign and domestic chocolates. This has a decidedly processed milk chocolatey look, Mrs. Colby. How do you explain that? Or can you? Yes?
you caught me out, Detective. I should have known better than to try to hoodwink a man of your acute perspicacity. Yes, it's a Kit Kat bar. My secret is out. I eat commercial candy store chocolate on the sly. Oh, if the girls of the country club knew this, I'm so embarrassed.
And don't be. Many a decent citizen will resort to lies and social pressures come to bear. Needless to say, this is our little secret. Goes no further than this room.
I'm very grateful, Detective. You're a man of rare delicacy and perception.
Yeah, I suppose I am. Well, I guess everything else checks out. Thank you for your time, ma'am. But one more thing.
Yes?
The game you mentioned, the parrot and the cow,
Yeah.
does it have to be a parrot?
Why, no. The species are flexible as long as the usual rules obtain. You could be a snake or a duck or what you will.
I see. We'll be in touch. Ah,
Going to hear an excerpt from Tracy Let's Play, August Osage County. Sarah Hecht is playing the matriarch, and Violet is the matriarch. The family is a dysfunctional Oklahoma family. Violet, the matriarch, is a bitter died, and 3 daughters have come home for the funeral. In this scene, the 3 girls are on the porch with their mother, reminiscing about their teenage years. Violet joins them and shares a memory of her own.
Did I ever tell you the story of Raymond Carl?
No, Mama.
Well, not much of a story to it. But boy, did I have a crush on him when I was 15 or so. Big, rough-looking boy, worn-out jeans, messy hair, terrible underbite. But he had this pair of cowboy boots, shiny, chocolate, leather, Oh, and he was so proud of those boots, you could tell. He'd strut around, all arms and elbows, all puffed up and cocksure. I decided I needed to get me a pair of girly boots just like his. And he'd ask me to go steady. Convinced myself of it. He'd see me in my boots and he'd say, now there's the gal for me. Found the boots. I found the boots in a window in a store downtown and just about went crazy. I'd stay awake late at night, praying for those boots. Imagining what Raymond would say when he saw me in my boots. I must have asked my mama 100 times if I could get those boots. Vi, what do you want for Christmas? Mama, I would give up everything else if I could just have those boots. Bargaining, you know. Well, she started to hint about a package she placed under the tree, about the size of a boot box. Real pretty wrapping paper, ribbons, and all. Now, Vi, don't you go looking under that tree. She's a little smile on her face. Come Christmas morning, I was up like a shot, and under that tree, tearing open that box, there were boots there, all right. Men's work boots. Holes in the toes, tangled up laces, all covered in mud and shit. Mama. Oh, Mama. She laughed for days. Yes, sir. She just laughed for days.
Yes.
Where's your pen?
Luciano is going to give a monologue from Arthur Miller's The Death of a Salesman. It's written in 1949 and takes place in Brooklyn. Willie Loman is a traveling salesman who has grown despondent with his life. He wants to ask his boss, Howard, for a job in New York City instead of traveling all the time.
Yeah, my father spent many years up in Alaska. He was an adventurous man. We have quite a streak of self-reliance in our family. I was going to go out with my older brother, go up north, find the old man, and maybe settle up there. I almost decided to go when I met a salesman in the Parker House. His name was Dave Singleman. He was 84 years old, and he drummed merchandise in 21 states. Old Dave, he'd go up to his room, you understand, put on his green velvet slippers. I'll never forget. Pick up the phone, call the buyers, and at the age of 84, without ever leaving the room, he made his living. When I saw that, I realized being a salesman was the greatest career a man could want. What could be better at the age of 84 to go into 20 or 21 different cities and be helped and respected and loved by so many people? You know, when he died, and by the way, he died the death of a salesman in his green velvet slippers in the smoker of the New York, New Haven, Hartford, going into Boston. When he died, hundreds of salesmen and buyers came to his funeral. There was a lot of quiet trains for months after that. You know, in those days, there was personality in it, Howard. There was people caring. Today, it's all cut and dried. No room for personality or friendship. Do you see what I mean? They don't know me anymore!
You know, Mike is gonna tell a tale of personal experience.
Yeah, there's something a lot of people don't know about me, but I happen to be an avid hunter, and I shot a moose once. I was hunting in upstate New York, and I shot a moose. But what I didn't realize was the bullet didn't penetrate the moose, just merely grazed his scalp and knocked him unconscious. So now I'm heading home, got the moose on the hood of my car, driving down the West Side Highway, and the moose wakes up, starts signaling for a right-hand turn. And as New Yorkers, you all know, it's illegal in New York City to be driving with a conscious moose on the hood of your car Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm getting a little panicky. I remember friends of mine are having a costume party. So I figured this is great. Bring the moose to the party, get him inside, no longer my responsibility. So I head over to my friend's house, park the car, walk up to the door, knock on the door. The moose is standing next to me. The host answers the door. We say our hellos. I look at the moose. I say, "You remember the Solomons?" And we're in. Evening's going great. Moose is over at the buffet table. Guys are trying to sell him insurance for 20 minutes. He's mingling. The night's going on. Moose is a hit, even scores. Well, now it's 12 o'clock, and they're going to judge the costumes. First prize goes to the Berkowitzes, a married Jewish couple in a moose costume. The moose comes in second, and he's furious. He and the Berkowitzes lock horns, they knock each other out. They're lying there on the middle of the living room floor. I see this as my opportunity, so I run over and grab the moose and put him back on the hood of the car. I'm on my way back upstate when I realize I got the Berkowitzes. It's illegal in New York State to be driving with a married Jewish couple on the hood of your car Tuesdays, Thursdays, and especially on Saturday. So I get upstate, I drop the Berkowitzes off in the woods, I head home. The next morning, the Berkowitzes wake up in the woods in a moose costume. Mr. Berkowitz gets shot, he's stuffed, he's now mounted on the wall of the New York City Golf Club. The joke's on them because they don't accept Jews. You probably realize I didn't shoot a moose. That is from the Great White Hunter, Woody Allen. I stole his piece.
All right, good. Good job, Sheldon. Very good. The moose is great. That's a great spit. You did really good. I'm laughs in there. Okay, baby. Okay.
Yeah, so thank you, sir. You guys can come back anytime. great. I really enjoyed it. And so thank you. We got a movie coming up. So if you guys want to stay, you can. 3, and I think this is a good crowd to enjoy things. We have on Friday coming up a game that somebody's actually going to bring called the Real Dead Poets, and it's poetry. It's a game where you get to have cards. You're going to write your own little poems. They're going to get prompts. You're going to sabotage the person next to you. Look, now who doesn't like a little revenge on a Friday? And then you get to take your poems back. So I have a thing here. So you guys, anybody who's interested can sign their name. Friday at 1:00. Right here. Yes, they're going to bring somebody in who does this game. I've heard it sounds like a lot of fun. And so let me know. Tabitha's here. She's going to set up the movie, and I'm going to walk around because I know you are all dying. Yes. To hang out and do stuff with the dead poets. What's the movie? The movie is yours. Find it. Don't think the movie. What is her name?
She made you cry, which is good. It's very important to be able to cry. You were tearing up. You were moved by it. But it's important to cry, very important. Okay. If you cry, you know you're still alive. A friend of mine told me the other day, said, wonderful news. I was so excited for her. I didn't follow them.
I can imagine it does.
What is important? So I love the event. Okay. Okay. Go somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. How am I gonna get that?